All right, guys, SignalGate update. Okay, so welcome back to Correct Me, where we go over the day's news. I give you my perspective, and you can put yours in the comments below because I want to hear it. Let's have a discussion, okay? Instead of being siloed, let's talk it out, okay? So update: we have the full screenshots of the text messages from SignalGate. SignalGate, if you don't know, is where they were texting over a commercial app, which is called Signal, okay? And they were texting about American war plans, okay? So let's just take a look at some of these texts and see, like, what do you think? Is this confidential information? Is this becoming of the U.S. government, okay? Team, establishing a principles group for the coordination on the Houthis, particularly over the next 72 hours. My deputy Alex Wong is putting together a team of deputies, agencies, chief of staffs, levels following the meeting in the situation room this morning for action items that we will be sending out later this evening. Please provide best staff POC from your teams to help us coordinate over the next couple days over the weekend. Thanks. Okay. And then they're naming the staff members. This is Marco Rubio, Vance, Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know who that is. Pete Hegseth. Nice of him to put a picture there. Brian McCormick. Okay. Then it goes on, and they're like, team, you should have a statement of conclusion with your taskings per President's guidance this morning in your side inboxes. In your high side inboxes. State and DOD developed State and DOD, we developed suggest notification for regional allies and partners. Joint staff sending out. So they're setting it all up. Okay, JD Vance says, I'm out for today during an economic event in Michigan, but I think we are making a mistake. This is interesting. So you actually get to see them fight, okay? 3% of U.S. trade runs through the Suez. 40% of European trade does. The real risk that the public doesn't understand this or why it's necessary. The strongest reason to do this, as POTUS said, is to send a message. But I'm not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with the message on Europe right now. There's further risk that we see a moderate to severe spike in oil prices. I'm willing to support the consensus of the team and keep these concerns to myself, but there are strong arguments for delaying this a month. Doing the messaging work on why this matters and seeing where the economy is, etc. Because they want to know where the tariffs are and stuff like that. Pretty good point there, okay? So what he's saying is, like, we don't even really use the Suez Canal that much. The Europeans are going to use most of it, okay? And then Joe Kent said there's nothing really time sensitive. In this timeline, we have the exact same options in a month. The Israelis will likely take strikes and therefore ask us for more support in replenishing whatever they use against the Houthis, but that's a minor factor. I will send you unclassed data we pulled on BAM shipping. So this is kind of interesting too, because what he's saying is that, like, the Israelis will probably strike on them, and then we'll have to pay for the missiles anyways, and we won't get any of the credit. You know what I mean? So if we act now, we could probably get it, okay? This is John Ratcliffe. He's the director of the CIA. He says, from CIA perspective, we're mobilizing assets to support now, but a delay would not negatively impact us, and additionally, additional time would be used to identify better starting points and coverages on Houthi leadership, okay? And then Hegseth chimes in and says, I understand your concerns and fully support you raising with POTUS the important considerations, most of which are tough and to know how they'll play out. Economy, Ukraine, peace, Gaza. I think the messaging is going to be tough no matter what. Nobody knows who the Houthis are, which is why we would need to stay focused on Biden failed and Iran funded. So that's the messaging. Okay, the messaging is the Houthis are, Biden failed, he didn't take them out, and that they're Iran funded, and that's why we need to attack. Okay, waiting a few weeks or a month does not fundamentally change the calculus immediately. Two immediate risks on waiting. 1, this leaks and we look indecisive. 2, Israel takes action first. Again, because we're going to have to pay for the missiles anyways, and we're not going to get credit. Or Gaza ceasefire falls apart, which it already is, and we don't get the start this on our own terms. We can manage both. We are prepared to execute in a final go or no go vote. I believe we should do this. This is not about the Houthis. I see it as 1, restoring freedom of navigation to the core interests, and 2, reestablishing deterrence, which Biden created on. So it's pretty amazing that they're still blaming Biden in their chats. Okay, but we can easily pause, and if we do, I will do all I can to enforce 100% OPSEC, which is operational security. I welcome other thoughts. Okay, then Mike Waltz come in and he says the trade figures we have are 15% of global and 30% of containers. It's difficult to break that down to US specific because much of the container either goes through the Red Sea around Cape God. So they're saying, where the shipping goes, and actually we might have more than he's objecting to JD Vance's 2% statement. Okay. Whether we pull the plug or not today, Europeans are naive and don't have the capability of defending against these types of sophisticated anti-ship cruise missiles and drones the Houthis are now using. So whether it's now or in several weeks, it will have to be the United States that reopens these shipping lanes per the president's request, as we are working with the DOD and the state to determine how to compile the costs associated and levy them against the Europeans. So basically he's saying, we're going to open up this shipping lane. We don't know the cost yet, but we're going to try and get the Europeans to pay for it. They're stupid and blah, 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 blah. They don't have the capability of doing this, okay? As stated in the first PC, we have fundamental decision allowing the sea lanes to remain closed or reopen them. And let's be clear, these sea lanes are closed because the Houthis are protesting the genocide in Gaza, okay? So the other way to open up these sea lanes, okay, you don't have to do any bombings at all. You don't have to do any bombings at all. That's what nobody in this thing talks about. All you have to do, stop bombing Gaza. That's it. Get the ceasefire in Gaza. That's it. And that can be done just by stopping to fund Israel. Like you hear them in here, they're like, Israel's going to come back at us. Well, just tell them, no, we're not giving you any missiles. And it's over. It's over. But they don't want to do that, okay? From a messaging standpoint, we absolutely add this to horrible, where the Europeans must invest in their own defense. So that's the messaging on it. And this is the same text. Okay, and then JD Vance pipes in and says, if you think we should do it, let's do it. I hate bailing out Europe again. Again, they're just like, I hate bailing out Europe again. Let's just make sure the messaging is tight here. And if there are things we can do up front to minimize the risk to Saudi oil, which we should do it. Because all of a sudden they're best friends with the Saudis, right? And I'm going to do a different video on why that's problematic. But if you guys have ever heard of Kamal Khashoggi, he's an American reporter that the Saudis chopped up into little pieces and killed him for no good reason other than the fact that he was doing reporting. And then all of a sudden we're just like Saudi's best friend again. So, I mean, the States is, right? VP, I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic. But Mike is correct. We're the only ones on the planet, on our side of the ledger, who can do this. Nobody even comes close. Question is timing. I feel like now is as good a time as any to give POTUS directive to reopen shipping lanes. And I think we should go, but POTUS still retains 24-hour decision space. Then Stephen Miller, okay, who's, I think he's like chief of staff at the White House, okay, whatever. He chimes in and says, as I heard it, the president was clear, green light, but as soon as we make it clear to Egypt and Europe what we expect in return, we also need to figure out how to enforce such a requirement. If Europe doesn't remunerate, then what? If the U.S. is successful in restoring freedom of navigation at a great cost, there needs to be some further... So they're basically saying, we ain't doing this shit for free. We ain't doing this shit for free. And we wanna get paid to do it. Okay? And the Europeans are pathetic. Obviously, all your allies are pathetic. That's what it is. Okay. Then here's Pete Hegseth texting on there now. And he's like, he's literally texting times, okay? And weather conditions first. Weather favorable, just confirmed. It's a go for mission launch. Now he's like 12:15 Eastern time. F-18 launch. First strike package. So he's naming weapon system. And he's saying that they're about to go out, okay? 1:45, trigger-based F-18 strike starts on terrorist attack, okay? Strikes and drones. He's, again, naming weapon system as they're about to fly. Now, keep in mind, this is 2 hours before the actual strike starts, okay? And these idiots have added in a reporter, okay? By accident. Like, thank God it's an American reporter who was patriotic that kind of said something later. That's how we got these screenshots. But had it been anyone else, whoever's flying these planes, like, you can understand why they would be in danger, right? Like, 'cause if I knew 2 hours ahead of time that the U.S. was about to launch some F-18s and I have some anti-aircraft missiles, I can start positioning. I have 2 hours. Go, 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 go. And I can move on whatever they think they're striking on. Okay, maybe I have intelligence on that. So, that was the part that he held back. And then, of course, there's a celebration after with the famous emojis. Good job, blah, 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 blah. 3 things about this, okay? 1, the emojis, like, damn. Okay, like, this is like, they're like, yeah, you know what I mean? We fucked up. You just killed some people. And it's fist pump American flag fire emoji. Okay. 2, how like loose these guys are with national security. Okay. They just, anybody on this chat. Okay. Who do you have on this chat? You have Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. You have J.D. Vance, Vice President. You have Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. You have Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. You have, anyway, like the White House Chief of Staff, okay? I think they even said the Treasury Secretary's in here. I don't know why they would need to know that. But any one of those people should have known that you don't text out attack plans, war plans, whatever it is you want to call them. You don't text those out 2 hours before you're gonna use them. Like, they have skiffs for this. It's why the government has situation rooms. It's why, and they have mobile ones too. They have, like, you saw the president when the Houthis, when the attack was actually going on, he was at the golf course. They set up a mobile command base and he stood there with his headphones on and watched it, blah, blah, blah. That's over secure channels, okay? And why would you need secure channels in a military operation? Why would you need them? You just don't text this stuff, okay? So worse yet, now we've all seen, I'll do another video about how they're denying that these are classified or, anybody should get fired about this, but if it was a lower level military officer, if it was a private or a corporal or, somebody that was just on the base, they would be arrested for this. And now they're trying to throw, at this point in time, at the time of recording this video, they're trying to throw Pete Hegseth and Tim Waltz under the bus because Waltz added the reporter to it, who was, by the way, reading it in a Safeway parking lot. Okay. And I think all of them need to be held to account. I think all of them need to be fired. Like, I don't understand how you can think, like, if the CIA director, the part that's not released here, which the reporter says, is that the CIA director actually named an in the field CIA officer over text. Right? Like, that's the stuff that America's enemies wants, And I'm going to be doing a video a little later today where all their passwords, all their information for their regular phones was all over the internet anyways. Journalists got it. So definitely, like, these guys are compromised. The U.S. is less safe. I don't think it should be limited to Hegseth and Waltz. I think the fact that it's not all of them. Oh, right here. Here's the list of all the people that were on the chat. So there's the reporter, Mike Waltz, Scott B., and I don't know why some of these names are double. Like, maybe they're on multiple devices, right? By the way, Marco Rubio, when this is going on, that's Marco Rubio, is on multiple devices. He's in Saudi Arabia, okay? And the reason I said that was important, if you watch a documentary, guys, it's called Dissidents, okay? And it's about how the Saudis chopped up this American reporter that worked at the Wall Street Journal. They chopped him up into little pieces, put him into bags, and I think threw pieces of his body away and stuff like that. But they use a software called Pegasus, okay, which they used to infiltrate Jeff Bezos' phone, okay, and they talk about it in the documentary, and it's why just Jeff Bezos ended up that he got exposed that he was having an affair and then ended up having to get a divorce, right? So we know the Saudis have this technology. Marco Rubio is holding this phone, okay? And he knows really well, or he should know really well, because I know it. I know that they have this Pegasus software, right? That they're, and that was years ago, guys. That was like during the first Trump term, I think, when they chopped up Khashoggi, okay? So they had Pegasus way back then. So they probably have way more now, okay? And then the other thing is Witkoff is on this. Witkoff, at this point, is in Russia, who's an Iranian ally, who's an ally of the Houthis, who is known to be able to hack phones and have a great offensive cyber security team, or whatever they call it, offensive cyber security thing. So they can hack phones. And Witkoff is in Russia meeting with Putin, who's allies with Iran, who's allies with the Houthis. And this is going on his phone. So I don't buy the crap that it should be just what's his name, Hegseth and Waltz that get fired over this. Really, every single one of them should be fired. But what this really shows you is the total incompetence of the Americans. Which, if you're in Canada like me, or another country around the world, and you're seeing this and you're horrified and you're scared, this is kind of reassuring, because these guys are idiots. Like, they're absolute idiots. You know what I mean? Like, if I know that you shouldn't be doing this stuff on regular personal phones, then clearly somebody with security clearances, real like top secret security clearances, like a lot of these people have top secret security clearances, they should know and they should take it seriously. But they don't. And that's ultimately how they'll end up being defeated. So guys, leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think, you know, who all should be fired. And we'll catch you on the next video.